People did not expect you to cut them off like you did. They did not expect you to walk away, go no contact, low contact. People think you always gonna stay for and tolerate abuse for they shenanigans and just stay connected to chaos, drama, and dysfunction. So many people are used to the drama that they expect people to just tolerate it, especially when you've been there for years and you've tolerated it for years. They expect you to continue to tolerate it. They never expected you to lead the situation. They never expected you to be the one to get free, to be the one that got away, you know. They never expected this out of you. And so it's like taking them all by surprise. Whoever this person or these people are, it's taking them by surprise. They in shock because you have not returned. They in shock because you went low to no contact. They in shock and they are in disbelief at the fact that you cut them off and you ain't returned. You cut them off and you went and did something different. You went to go build a completely different new life. And it's like, dang, is she going to come back? Is he going to come back? Are they going to return? Are they going to call me back? When are they ever going to call me? Like, people really, literally trying to figure out how to get back in your good graces and get you back into their life. But they took that for granted. Like, they had access to you before. They took it for granted. They stepped all over you, walked all over you like a welcome mat, treated you like crap, and now you gone for good. And they just can't wrap their minds around that. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that you are gone for good. And it's like, okay, now you're dealing with the consequences of your own actions, because if you would have treated me better, I would still be around. If you would have done something better, I would still be there. You would still have a connection with me, right? But people don't expect you to walk away from them. They don't expect you to get tired, you to get fed up and just leave. They expect you to stay and tolerate their abuse, stay and tolerate their mess. Like, no, at some point you will wake up and realize, okay, I deserve better than this. I deserve better than being cheated on, misused, abused, called everything but a child of God. I deserve better than it. Like, at some point you wake up and you recognize it and you realize your value and your worth, and you start pouring back into you. And whoever is like taken away from you pouring into you or being a hindrance to where you trying to go, like, they get cut off. Period. But we're gonna get into it. I got my notes right here. We're just gonna hit on 5 key points about why they didn't expect you to cut them off like that. But if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the channel, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. I upload a video every single day and you don't want to miss it, whether that's a long form video or a short form video. We are here and we in the building. How y'all doing? I'm so excited, y'all, to be recording this video. Oh my gosh, to be back in action. We're going to go ahead and jump into the video. We ain't going to prolong it. Number 1, they thought you would always stay. You were forgiving. You always came back. You always trying to fix it and communicate. And you were always the one that wanted to keep the peace, basically. You wanted everything to be peaceful. So you would literally dim your light or bite your tongue and not say stuff just to keep the peace. But that was really like shattering you within. And that will eat you up when you literally not talking about the actual issue that is literally right there in your face at play. It'll like eat you up inside. And they never thought that you would get tired of that. They never thought that you would leave. They thought you would always stay, always forgive, always. Yes, I'm always forgive, but you realize, you know what? I forgive you, but that don't mean I got to reconcile. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation. Forgiveness does not require reconnection. Somebody put that in the comments. Put one of them in the comments. Forgiveness don't require reconciliation nor reconnection. It don't. It don't say that nowhere in the Bible that you gotta forgive and let them back in your life to abuse you even more. It don't say that. It don't say nothing about that. But forgiveness does not require you to stay connected to the abuse, to the mistreatment, being stepped all over like a welcome mat. Like, that don't require you to stay connected to these people. You will always go back. And then that last time you went back, you finally said, all right, man, it's something different. And it's because, like, when you left, you experienced new stuff, you experienced new things, and then you came back and you like, dang, y'all still toxic. Y'all still talk about the same thing. Y'all still gossiping. Y'all still entertaining the same stuff. Y'all ain't got nothing new. Like, it ain't nothing new. You got a taste of something different. And when you got a taste of something different, you started to crave that new thing, that different thing. And so you were like, okay, I ain't going back no more. This the last time. This the last time. I ain't going back. You were always trying to fix it. That's the thing we have to understand as empathetic people, having an empathetic spirit. Like, we cannot fix people. You cannot fix the situation. The only thing that you can fix is you. The only thing that you can fix is your behavior, the way you approach the situation, the way you show up. That's the only thing that you can fix. That's the only thing that you can change. You cannot fix or change other people. You cannot fix or change the situation. Once it happened, it happened. You just got to see it for what it is and then, like, move forward. Because if you don't, you'll stay there trying to fix the situation, being distracted from what God actually wants you to work on, being distracted from the thing that you're supposed to be doing out here in the world. You being distracted from that, trying to fix a situation that was already broken in the first place. Like, you trying to fix a relationship that was never a relationship anyway, because y'all could never relate. Y'all ain't got nothing to relate on, right? You trying to fix or amend a friendship that was never a friendship. The friend was jealous of you the whole time. You trying to fix or amend a family bond that was never there in the first place. Everything was built on trauma. Everything was built on survival. You cannot fix what was already broken in the first place. You cannot fix what you never broke. You can't fix that. You can't fix that. And so you always went back thinking that you could fix the situation, thinking that you can change somebody, thinking that you can change their mind by you being in their vicinity, you bringing your presence. No, your presence is precious and you have to keep that. You have to guard that. You have to protect that and stop placing yourself in compromising situations and environments that will literally taint that will put a damper on your spirit, right? So understand that you can't fix the situation. The only thing that you can fix is you. You always kept the peace. You always kept the peace, trying to be calm and quiet, but being quiet ain't even your thing. That ain't even your thing. You calling stuff out. You call out toxicity. You call out the mistreatment. You call that stuff out, and you would literally stay quiet just to keep peace. No, we're not doing that no more. But they thought you would always stay, and they never thought you would leave. Point number 2. They thought you needed them. Baby, they thought you needed them. You used to lean on them. You used to value their opinion. You used to lean on them for, like, maybe advice. You would want to get their opinions on stuff, knowing good and well them people ain't never been in your shoes for where it is that you trying to go. Them people ain't never been in your shoes. You kept them in close proximity to you, thinking that things would get better, and you made them feel important. They felt like somebody. And see, they didn't feel important in the sense of equal to you. No, they felt like they needed to be superior over you. Like they felt like they needed to make you feel inferior, make you feel low and small and low confidence, and talking down on you, like down talking you and stuff like that. They thought you couldn't walk away from them because you kept them so close. You used to lean on them. You leaning on them at one point in your life, they didn't think you could walk away from that. They didn't think you would, like, stop leaning on them, walking away from that, getting tired of leaning on them, find somebody else to lean on, find something else to lean on. You found God. That's the thing. You found God. They thought you needed them. They didn't expect you to cut them off. Okay. They thought you needed them, But in reality, you didn't need them. You found out that I don't need you to survive. I don't need you to do what I want to do. I don't need you for that. I don't need to stay in this toxic relationship just to feel good about myself. I don't need to stay in this toxic environment or this toxic job just to have some money. I don't need to stay in this toxic family dynamic, this narcissistic family dynamic, just to feel validated. Or no, like, I don't need this. You understood that you don't need it. You finally realized that you don't need it, and you walked away. But they thought you couldn't walk away. Moving on to number 3. They never thought you would choose yourself. That's a good one. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. I choose me. They never thought you would choose yourself. You used to put them first, worried about pouring into them, worried about how they gonna feel about stuff, worried about how it's gonna make them feel, what it's gonna make them think, what they gonna say about it, how they gonna feel about it, blah, blah, blah. Rather than satisfying yourself, rather than pouring into yourself, you were pouring from an empty cup, right? You were pouring into them when you weren't even pouring into yourself. You were putting them first. Like, you literally had these people on a pedestal, and they disappointed you every single time. When you put somebody on a pedestal, it gonna always end up in disappointment. It gonna always end up in disappointment. When you idolize somebody, you put them up on a pedestal, you just see them, you expect this good, all these good things from this person, and they turn around and do you dirty. That just leads to disappointment. You were putting them first and not putting yourself first. I recently made a video about pouring into yourself. Self-love. Self-love is not selfish. Like, you're gonna have to pour into you in order to show up for anybody else, and you weren't doing that. You was trying to pour into everybody else. Be there for them. Be there for them. Be there for them over there. And do this and do that. Just neglecting yourself. No. No. You used to overgive. You giving, and they just taking. Come on, give me some more. Give me some more. They just taking from you. Taking it. They taking it, and they taking advantage of it. Whatever it is that you had to offer, they taking advantage of it. You was just over giving, thinking that this would make them change or be a better person. You over giving, thinking that it will make them love you more, make them stop cheating on you, make them treat you better, right? You over give. You over give, and that's something that you stop doing. I'm thinking about at one point, like, I stopped giving so much of myself to this certain person. And literally, when you stop giving so much of yourself to people, the things that they taking advantage of or taking for granted, they will literally go find it somewhere else. And that just go to show you what they actually wanted to do in the whole time, like from the jump. That's what you always wanted to do. That's what was in your heart. Like, people's heart will be exposed once you stop over giving. People's hearts will be exposed once you stop pouring, and you trying to pour from an empty cup. Nothing you do will ever be enough for these people. So you stop over giving. You used to ignore your own feelings, honey. Whenever you felt something, you wouldn't even express it no more, because you knew that if you express your feelings, then they gonna feel some type of way. They gonna feel like, I don't know, they gonna say something just to basically flip the script and make you feel bad. Now you feeling guilty for feeling what you even felt in the first place. Now you feeling shame for feeling what you feel, like your emotions that you were feeling. You were literally ignoring your own feelings just to satisfy them, just to make them happy, just to make them feel comfortable. But that's something that you ain't doing no more. You finally started to pay attention to your own feelings and to acknowledge and validate your own emotions. You started to do that. They never thought you would choose you. Another one is you used to tolerate disrespect. You used to tolerate all they disrespect. Oh, honey. Don't get me started on that. You just they talking to you any kind of way. They treating you any kind of way. You just tolerate it because you didn't want to call them out. Because maybe you were in the same environment. You just wanted to keep the peace. You didn't want, that conflict to be going on. So You tolerated their disrespect. But now you don't tolerate it no more. You started to set them boundaries. You started setting boundaries and choosing you and protecting you. When you set a boundary, that's literally like a protection for yourself. When you set a boundary, that's a protection for, okay, you're not finna talk to me any kind of way. You're not finna disrespect me. You're not finna call me out my name. You're not finna treat me like this, right? I'm not gonna tolerate you talking to me like this. If you want to talk to me, we're gonna talk in a regular tone. We're not talking, we're not yelling at each other, we're not doing it. You start to set them boundaries and protect yourself and not tolerate they disrespect no more. And they never expected it out of you. But your self-respect actually got them shocked. It got them shocked. Anyway, moving on. Point number 4. They thought your heart was too soft. See, people take your kindness for a weakness. People take your kindness for a weakness. You were kind. You were patient. You were loving. You were forgiving. You would even apologize for stuff that wasn't even your fault in the first place. You would apologize for things that it never had anything to do with you. Nothing. It had nothing to do with you. And they thought that all of that meant you were weak. They thought you were weak because you were kind, you were loving. Baby, all of that is strength. Okay? Because it take you having discipline, having being connected to the Holy Spirit in order to be kind and loving and forgiving and patient and all that jazz. It takes you having the Holy Spirit, which takes disciplining yourself in order to show up that way. Kind don't mean you clueless. Being kind don't mean you clueless. It don't mean you stupid. It don't mean you naive. It don't mean you gullible. It don't mean any of that. But people will literally take your kindness for a weakness. They took your kindness for a weakness and thought that they could just walk all over you because you got a soft heart. But then you started to recognize, okay, yeah, like I deserve better than this. In my heart, I can't take this. So I'm going to have to walk away. This is why your cutoff game's strong. Because you started to respect yourself. You started to see your own value, your own worth. And you are willing to walk away from what don't even serve you. What don't serve you at all. And that's exactly what you did. And then the last point that I want to hit on, y'all, is they did not realize that you were done. They didn't realize you were done for good. They didn't realize you weren't never coming back. They didn't realize you weren't going to chase them no more. They didn't realize you weren't going to explain yourself no more. They didn't realize that you weren't going to be arguing with them no more. You stopped doing all of that. You got quiet. You backed away from the situation. You said, you know what? I'm going to take my presence elsewhere. And trust me, they feel your absence. Okay? Your presence is felt, and so is your absence. That's going to be another video for another day. But I want you to understand that they did not think that you would be able to cut them off like that. You started moving in silence. And when you get silent, oh, that means it's final. That's it right there. That's the final decision right there. I'm going to get quiet and I'm going to plan my exit strategically. I'm going to be real strategic about my exit. And that's exactly what you did. They did not think that your cutoff game was this strong. They did not think you were going to cut them off like that. They didn't think that. So we're going to do a little recap. Let's do a little recap. They thought you would always stay. That's number 1. Number 2, they thought you needed them. Number 3, they never thought you would choose yourself. Number 4, they thought your heart was too soft. And number 5, they did not realize you were done. Hey, now I hope this video helped you in some kind of way. Okay? Make sure you stay away from toxic people. Stay away from them. Cut them off if you need to. Anything, anybody in your life that does not serve you, that does not benefit you, that does not push you towards your goals, that does not speak life into you, that does not help you to elevate, that don't do nothing but take, drain the life out of you and leave you depleted at the end of the day, cut it off. You got to cut it off because you got things to do. You got bigger and better things to concern yourself with. And being distracted by the enemy and his little minions, that ain't what we doing in 2026. Okay? So I hope this video resonated with you. I hope it helped you. If it did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody that might need to hear this video. If you like the video, you like these type of videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And make sure you hit that notification bell. I upload a video every single day, baby, and you do not want to miss my videos. Okay? Them people didn't expect you to cut them off like that. You did your big one. All right. I'll talk to you in the next video.